What's going on, guys? Healy here, and today I am ranking baseball video games. We're using the tier list maker on tiermaker.com. I'll have the link to this in the description down below. I had to make this own tier list, so if you guys have other games that you want on this list, I could probably add them on here. I just did mainly games that I've played and very popular games. But if you have other games that you want on this list, let me know in the comments section and I'll probably add them for you. But there's an S tier, an A tier, B, C, D, and F. There's a lot of games on this list, as you can see right here, made by me. If you just want to search for it on Tier Maker, baseball video games. Otherwise, just use the link in the description down below. And if you just want to follow along in the comments section and fill it out in the comments section, instead of just going to tiermaker.com, you could do that. Tag me on Twitter. I would love to see your guys' lists. Also, a disclaimer, I do have two Mlb the Show 19s. I did not realize that I added in two. Just ignore it. I can't remove it. I don't know how to, so just ignore it, I guess. But the first game we're going to start off with, Mlb the Show 19. Right now, Mlb the Show 19, the content is amazing. The gameplay is okay. The road to the show, I'm enjoying it a lot. Franchise mode's just iffy. I'm going to put it in the B tier. It has the potential to get to A tier with a patch. Maybe even an S tier. But right now, with how the gameplay is, it's in the B tier. All the other stuff, though, makes this game very good. Mlb the Show 18, the next on this list. And we are going to toss it in. It's going to be in the D tier. Mlb the Show 18. Not the bottom of the bottom, but it's just a step up. Diamond Dynasty wasn't fun. The gameplay online wasn't fun. Offline was amazing, but online as a whole, how I played the game, Mlb 18 was very bad in my opinion. The next game is Rbi Baseball 18. This game's an F tier. It's not good. The franchise is garbage. Actually, we'll put it in D tier. We'll put it in D tier. They did add Legends in 18. So good for them. You could play online a little bit. The gameplay improved just a tad, but it's terrible. Rbi Baseball 18 was bad. Mlb the Show 06, the original one. This is an A tier, man. The nostalgia was amazing. I remember playing this game on the PSP. My friend would come over. He'd bring his PSP. I would take it. I would play Road to the Show. There was no better gaming experience for the most part in 2006 with the baseball game. The Show, starting off, the best baseball game out there. You had to grab it. It looked so realistic at the time. Definite A tier. It was ahead of the game. MVP Baseball 2005. S tier. It has to be S tier. The best baseball game of all time, in my opinion. It had everything. You had the legend teams. You had the historic stadiums. The rosters were great. Franchise mode was awesome. You had AAA, AA, single A. You could manage. You could be the general manager. You could be an owner. Well, general manager, no, but you could be an owner, make prices for food, vendors and all that. You could change your stadium. They had stadium creation. The mini games on MVP Baseball were sick. The animations were good in the game. Played very well. Pitching was sick. The pitch speeds were great. Pitch speeds were very fast. And the soundtrack was amazing as well. The next is Backyard Baseball 2005. This one is going to be in the middle. It'll be a C tier. It's Backyard Baseball, which is always a great game to play. But after 2001, they changed up a lot of the voices. It just wasn't how it used to be. It was a fun game. They had some cool legends, like in 05, the cover athletes, A-Rod. But besides that, it's just a normal baseball game to me. And that's why it's in the C tier. The next one, it got cut off, but it's MLB 2K13. This game was garbage. It was just a complete reskin of 2K12. They didn't do anything. It was the last year of the game. 2K was totally outmatched by MLB The Show, and they put no effort into 13. No effort at all. So it has to be at the bottom. MLB High Heat. This was a pretty fun game to play. I don't have too many memories of it, but from what I remember, it was pretty decent. And I'm deciding to put it in between C and B, but from what I remember, it's going to lean more on the B tier. I wish I could rank these at the end. I'm not too sure if I can, but right now it's barely in the B tier. Wii Sports. Now this game is going to be in the B tier. It's Wii Sports as a whole was a very fun game. Baseball, though, it's in the B tier. You can't hate on Wii Sports. You can't. I would spend hours on hours playing Wii Sports, especially the baseball. I would keep stats of all the Miis and people in the game, of how many home runs they hit and all that. So B tier. I was leaning A, but A and S, you have to have some kind of special to be in there. Major League Baseball 2007. Derek Jeter on the cover automatically makes it great. That when I remember playing baseball games and covers, Derek Jeter, whenever he was on a game, it was generally good. 2K back then was making great games still. Great baseball games. The Show, they were still producing quality stuff, probably better than 2K. But 2K, they weren't letting up. They were still a great game company. They weren't focusing on microtransactions and all that. So that's why it is in the B tier. Ken Griffey. The next one's Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. This game was ahead of its time. Super fun to play. It was on the Nintendo 64. One of the first MLB games that I got my hands on. And you could play this game for hours. I don't remember too much. Well, what I remember is I had a very great time with that game. That's why it's in the A tier. MLB 2K11. This is going to go in B tier as well. It had My Career Mode. Really enjoyed playing the My Career Mode in 2K11. Back in 2011, with all the 2K sports games, especially NBA, I loved the progression system in their career modes. It was a little easy. After 1 year, I was able to get like a 99. I don't think I played at the highest difficulty, but it was definitely a fun game to play. They had a bunch of new features in that one that made it great from what I remember. And I played so much of 2K11. I didn't have a PlayStation until 2015. I had a PS2, but I didn't get the PS3. So all I had to play was MLB 2K. And 2K11, one of my favorite ones to play. 2K8, it's going to go in the C tier. I didn't play it too much, and it was a decent game. Came out after 2K7. I don't have too many fond memories of it, and to me, it's just an average game. Rbi Baseball 2017. It's in the F tier. Rbi 17, one of the worst games I've ever played. The franchise mode was garbage. The gameplay was garbage. I picked it up for like $5, and for whatever reason, the most viewed video on my channel is an Rbi Baseball 2017 video. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. MLB 2K9, another one that didn't really have too much improvement over the previous year's version to make a big impact on the game. Didn't really have too many great features. Tim Lincecum was sick back then. He was a cool pitcher, but C tier was that game sits as of now. Mario Super Sluggers is gonna be in the B tier. Every single Mario game, actually we'll move it to the A tier. Both Mario games were amazing to play. They weren't realistic, but boy, they got the baseball concept down. They made it fun to play, and it was challenging at times. I spent hours, especially with a buddy, playing both Mario baseball games. A lot of fun memories. There's different characters with like Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, different abilities, different fields that you could play on. Every experience was a fun time, and they executed it well. Rbi Baseball 19 is the next one, and we got to leave it in the D tier. They haven't made the improvements on it to make it a C tier game or even better than that, but compared to 18, they did add more legends to the game, you could say. They got better graphics. The gameplay's still the same though. They didn't reveal any gameplay trailers until they didn't even reveal a gameplay trailer before 19 came out. The franchise mode is iffy. It's super unrealistic. I get that it's an arcade game, but simulating, I don't think the stats should be simulated arcade style as well. And they're still missing out on some stuff. Out of the Park Baseball. I didn't include all of them. We're just going to include Out of the Park 20 as a whole. It's in the A tier. The best baseball simulating game out there. No actual gameplay, but they have all the rosters, including minor league rosters. Don't have to worry about getting those guys. They added a ultimate team mode, which is called Perfect Team. Super fun to play. You don't have to put any money into it. You can get a lot of players from the past, build your ultimate teams, and compete with other people, only simulating. You could also play any era of baseball. You could go back, play with Ted Williams, make sure that he doesn't go in the Army. You could do that with all the other people that entered the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, all that jazz. You can make it so that they don't enter their whatever field they go into and see how their career ends up. You could go back into 2005 as any team you want, and they'll have the draft classes from every team there on out the same exact how it was in real life. So you could go back in time 20 plus years ago where Carlos Beltran got drafted, and you could be the one to take Carlos Beltran instead of whatever team drafted him. I don't know off the top of my head. So Out of the Park Baseball, very cool. All-Star Baseball 2003, a Derek Jeter cover. I don't remember too much of All-Star Baseball. I remember having a fun time. Nothing really pushes me to put it in the B tier. Nothing really makes it bad to put it in the D tier. So that's where we're going to leave it, in the C tier. MLB 2K10. This is going to be another B tier game. 2K10 had the Perfect Game Challenge, which was a very sick challenge. You had to use like the day of rosters and certain matchups on the game. You had to record yourself, and if you got a perfect game, you had the chance to win $1 million. I was looking it up. 2K10, the guy who got $1 million did it within a day. And I'm pretty sure you had to play on one of the hardest difficulties in the game, which was insane. But 2K10 had a lot of great memories as well. Their career mode was just as good as 2K11's. That's why it's in the B tier. Mlb the Show 16 is going to be an A tier game. The gameplay at the time was amazing to play. Online was super fun. If you were the better person, you were going to win every single time. There's no flukes behind it for the most part. You could bunt your way to wins, but there was ways to prevent it if you were a great player. The content in Diamond Dynasty that year was finally getting good. It wasn't as good as the years after, but it was still a good game. Not an S tier game, but Mlb the Show 16 deserves some love, and that era of time for the show was amazing. Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube is an S tier game. Like I talked about with the other Mario game, they knew what they were doing. They made it fun, and it was an awesome time. Realism wasn't the best, but boy, you would have a fantastic time. There wasn't really a lot of complaints that you could have with Mario Superstar Baseball. Mlb the Show 15 is going to be a B tier game. B tier because of the gameplay. Diamond Dynasty was bare bones. It was super boring to play. Road to the Show was okay. Franchise mode was meh. The gameplay is why it's a B tier. I almost put it in C tier. But besides that, didn't have a lot of content. It got boring really fast. Backyard Baseball as a whole, this is the original one. It's going to be an A tier. The original Backyard Baseball, I don't think they had any players, like MLB players in it, but just the nostalgia of learning about Pablo Sanchez, Pete Wheeler. I'm blanking on the other names right now, but they had a very solid gameplay with it. Mlb the Show 17 is a C tier game. The content on Mlb the Show 17 was amazing. It was so good, but the gameplay is why it's a C tier game. Yeah, the ball would fly, but there was a lot of issues with the gameplay, especially the servers early on in the year. A lot of problems with that. And late hits in that game were terrible. Unfortunately, it's not as good as the show games above it, so I have to place in the C tier. Maybe on the brink, kind of like MLB 15, but I value gameplay a little more than the content, so it teetered more on the C side. Very fun to play, not gonna lie on that, but as a whole, it's just a C tier game. MLB 2005, this was the game right before the show started. It's gonna be a C tier game. I don't really know too much about it. I might have played it once or twice. That game was like 14 years ago or something like that, so we'll toss it in the C tier. 2003 Backyard Baseball, another C tier game. They changed the voices after 2001. It just wasn't the same. They didn't really do too much, I don't think. I think afterwards it's just they grabbed a bunch of pros, threw them in the game, and that's why the series continued. Backyard Baseball 2001 though, that's an S tier game. So I talked about, I think 2001 was the first year where they added pros. They had Barry Bonds licensed in there. Probably the only game in MLB history to have Barry Bonds actually licensed in the game. I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but Barry Bonds was in this game. A lot of great legends or great players at the time were in Backyard Baseball. This was like the original one, but it had professional baseball players in it as well. And that's what pushed it up from an A tier to the S tier. We're coming down to the final 6 games here. We have the Bigs. The Bigs, it's going to be a B tier game. It was fun. It was cool to play. It was a different dynamic. But it doesn't really have all the aspects in my mind to push it to A or S. Very nostalgic, but you don't really see... You see people talk about it, but you don't really see people play it anymore. Like some of these other games. Older games. And at the time, it was fun to play, but I think it got boring kind of fast. There wasn't a lot to do in there, and just didn't really keep attention. Rbi Baseball. It is a D tier game. There wasn't too many versions of Triple Play. It was EA's before they went MVP Baseball. I was going to put it in C. We'll put it in D. I don't know much about it. I don't think I've ever played it. So in my mind, it's not really that good of a game. The Bigs 2 is going to be a B tier game. Just like the Bigs, they added some cool stuff to the Bigs 2. I think they added, like, not an exact career mode, but they added a cool mode to the game to make you play it longer. But to me, the Bigs 2 doesn't really push me over the edge to have it in the A or S tier. The next one's MLB 2K12. This is when they were on the downward spiral. It's a D tier. They didn't change much from 2K11 to 2K12. And then from 2K12 to 2K13, they didn't change anything at all. So it's a D tier game. Pretty much an exact replica of 2K11. Mlb Slugfest is a B tier game. You could literally beat the crap out of anyone. You could bean people with 150-mile-per-hour fastballs. The dynamic in this game, you could just beat everyone. You could like push them out of the way at bases. I remember if you like got a grounder or something, you could go over to like first base if the dude got a hit and just punch him off the base. Super fun to play. Gameplay wise, I don't remember being too sick, but the whole idea of Slugfest was awesome. That's why it's in the B tier. And then the last game, Ken Griffey, Major League Baseball. I think this was the first one on the Nintendo. It's gonna be in the C tier. I don't have much memories of it. I was growing up. I was pretty much probably born like around the time this game came out. I have no memories of playing this game. So I haven't really heard too many people talk about this one. I did hear people talk. I did play a little bit the other Ken Griffey game, but this one we'll leave it in C tier just because I don't know much about it. That means that it's just average. So that's it for my tier list. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. Like I said, fill out this tier list. I want to see what you guys do. Comment in the comments section what games you enjoyed, what games I should add to this list. And yeah, make sure to subscribe if you are new. This is Healy, and I am out. Peace.